Hey everyone, welcome back to The Moment. It is Tuesday, and there is so much that we need to talk about. I'm back. I was out last week. I missed you guys. I'm happy to be back. Shout out to Rebecca for leading the charge last week. I'm really excited because today we have Jenny Yang here as our guest co-host. You know Jenny, when she followed me on Instagram, it was a little bit of like a pinch me moment because fan. She is a stand-up comedian, actor, and TV writer. She was named one of Variety's top 10 comics to watch and has been featured at Just for Laughs in Festival in Montreal, the SF Sketch Festival, and Netflix is a Joke. Jenny is a former labor organizer who was born in Taiwan and raised in Los Angeles and stars opposite Michelle Yeoh as an assassin in the Netflix action comedy drama series The Brother's Son. You can follow her on her weekly podcast, What Should We Talk About, over on Substack, which we'll link to. Jenny, welcome to The Moment.
I am so excited to be here. I love the opening song.
Isn't
Great
it kind
little
of
beat.
vibe?
Yeah, it's a little Miami. It's a little, hip hop. I like it. It makes everything epic. I want to have that when I do a walk on for something,
That's right. Well, this was your walk on.
Thank you.
Yeah, every time it plays, I'm like, oh, everything is so bad. And then I'm like, well, everything is so bad.
I love theme song. I think everyone needs a theme song.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Right? Jenny, what would be like your walkout song if you had a walkout song in this phase of your life?
Oh, in this phase of my life? That's a good question. I think for a while I was just doing whatever is like a top 40 Bruno Mars song or because I'm a basic.
Thrilled.
That's
but
okay.
I love being a basic sometimes because, I grew up in Torrance down here in Los Angeles, like just a big fat suburb of LA County. I love a mall. So,
love.
No, so I don't know now. I can't think of the song right now, but I would say like this year, my word of the year, because I'm one of those bitches, is movement.
Ooh.
At first it was action, and then it was movement. So yeah, I think movement because I want to be a part of a movement, but it's also telling myself not to just be a depressed potato, and to move.
Okay, fully agree, fully consent, fully on board. I feel like the only thing that keeps me going is that we're here and going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing. Today on the show, just to give everybody a rundown, we're talking about the messiest bitch texting the Norwegian Prime Minister about his Nobel Peace Prize and whether that might lead us into war with Greenland. Okay. Then we're going to talk about the DOJ, who's now tackling reverse racism. And by the way, the White House didn't even acknowledge MLK Day, which I don't know. I want to talk about whether that's a good or a bad thing. And then we're going to lighten it up a little bit. We're going to talk about the Beckham family feud. And I feel like Mel Robbins would have opinions on this because it's like a no contact situation. And then the queen of the world, Kathy Griffin, is going to join us to talk about ICE, Minneapolis, and then specifically Don Lemon, who's ended up in the crosshairs of the DOJ, which she knows something about personally. So let's start with Greenland. After Donald Trump bullied Maria Corina Machado last week into giving him her Nobel Peace Prize, PBS reported that Trump sent a bananas text message to the Prime Minister of Norway. Do we have a picture of that? Oh, this was last week. Now we have Maria Corina. Now we have a text message. Can we pull up that text message, Vienna? Okay. So Vienna, this text message said, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, which is, don't forget the plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will be predominant, but can now think about what is good for the United States of America. Of course, he threatened sanctions to Europe over this. It's just so bananas insane. What was your reaction, Jenny, when you woke up and saw this text message?
I feel so bad for the journalists of PBS that they have to deal with this kind of news. This is like I just have a lot of journalist friends, and they're so serious, and they're so take their work so seriously, and now they have to report on like messy group chats like this.
Messy group chat.
You know what I'm saying? This is like little like spicy group chats that like this is what they have to report on. It's so sad, and the fact that like we've lost all presidential decorum. And so the fact that like this kind of man can be this petty to just be like, you didn't give me a Nobel Peace Prize, so you will see no peace. Like, this is stupid.
Which also, by the way, just for like clarity, and this is not clarity for Jenny because I know Jenny knows this is clarity for the President of the United States. The Prime Minister of Norway is not personally giving out Nobel Peace Prizes. Like this makes it sound like the Prime Minister of Norway's main job is deciding who gets the Nobel Peace Prize. It's like, it's bananas. I also like shout out to the Greenlanders who staged their biggest protest ever over the weekend. They distinctly do not want the United States and Greenland. Not that this man has ever understood no means no, but like shout out to the Greenlanders. Yeah. It looks like a tundra out there, and like they've spoken so eloquently. And like, by the way, this is a country that has universal health care, free education. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to live in the US either. Like this sucks.
Can you just imagine the average Greenlander right now just like, oh, leave us alone? Like we were just hanging out in the Northern Hemisphere by the Arctic Circle. Like, leave us alone.
We are chilling. This asshole. And then, wait, this was another thing that I feel like is worth mentioning is like, we are now pariahs on the world stage. There was this NBA game in London, and I just want to play a clip from that real quick if anybody missed it. Fiona, do we have that clip? Like shout out to that heckler.
Can we just talk about leave Greenland alone is what you say to a bully. Like that kind of a thing. That energy. Leave Greenland alone. It wasn't even like a super powerful, pithy chant. It was just
exactly. It was just like leave it alone. And it was in London. Like it's not. Yeah, I mean, Meredith, what do you think? What's going on?
Yeah, I was right there with Jenny. It's like being in high school and like the like mean bully kid whose star is starting to fade, Tom Kearse. I like all of a sudden, this is not the first time I've name checked him. All of a sudden, like people start to be like, you know what? Fuck you for always like coming after this person. But over the weekend, I kind of got into it with people on Threads because they were really mad because I was like, I don't know if Gavin Newsom is my first pick for, the presidential nominee, which apparently is like the worst thing that anyone can say, which feels insane. But one of the reasons why I'm not wild about Gavin Newsom is like, I want someone who is going to be able to get us back into a really good place when it comes to foreign diplomacy, because we are a year in and this is where we're at. I can't imagine how many other countries are going to hate us or what else we're going to do between now and the next presidential election. We need somebody who's going to come in and be like, yeah, let's clean this up. Let's repair these relationships.
I don't even know at this point whether these relationships are fully repairable, right? Like, I guess, like maybe NATO we can hang on to, which by the way, I feel like Trump doesn't get how important NATO is for us. But like, I don't know, if I were Canada, I'd be like, nah, like fool me once. One Trump administration, shame on you. 2 Trump administrations, shame on me. Like, I don't even know how we get out of this. Jenny, I'm curious. You were born in Taiwan, and like China must be looking at what we're doing and being like, interesting. Do you like have any thoughts as like somebody who feels close to Taiwan?
Well, let me put, if people don't know, Taiwan is in this really weird gray area where its nationhood is highly contested and disputed by China. And it's actually matters to Americans because Taiwan was essentially established by America. And I feel like there's a level of consciousness raising that that people have been going through, learning more about what's happening in the world and how our little sticky fingers are just everywhere. And they probably, American CIA, whatever, has caused so much turmoil and frankly, the reason for a lot of us immigrating to America in the first place from all these countries, you know, that have just like wild revolutions and coup d'etats. It's like, yeah, the CIA was there. And so, you know, I don't know. I just feel like right now under this administration, he has no decorum. So he doesn't care about the political theater of like looking like we're, you know, special world leaders with some kind of like veneer of grace or, you know, whatever. Like this is just stuff that we've been doing and he's just very blatant about it now.
Yeah.
You know, like going into Venezuela, you know, this is just what we do. Before they would cover it up, before they would kind of have some kind of NGO be the cover or some shit, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, don't get me started, but that's my feelings about it is like Taiwan, like many other places, essentially from the American perspective, acts as just a base for American power, you know? And so any kind of local controversies around like whether or not there's Taiwan nationhood, it's like, honestly, I'd rather not even weigh in because I feel like there's these systems bigger than us that really kind of move what that is, you know?
I know. I feel like that's the thing is like NATO, like all these things allow the US to be everywhere in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's what Trump also isn't getting is like the reason that you can like send ships and aircrafts everywhere is because you have a base everywhere in the world. Like these aren't like California fighters going to Russia in an instant. It's because the US has built a strong arm around the world. And like whether or not that's a good thing, if NATO collapses, that no longer exists. Like American power goes down. You know what I mean? Like it's so bonkers.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk for just a minute about what CBS is reporting, because they're saying that several former DOJ officials said that the focus of the DOJ is shifting and it will now seek to protect white people against alleged, quote unquote, reverse discrimination. Last week, Trump told the New York Times, I think that a lot of people were treated very, very badly. White people were very badly treated where they did extremely well, and they were not invited to go into a university or a college. Can I just speak for the white community?
Please.
I'm fine. I've never been discriminated against in my life, and I want less. Like that is every morning.
Not if the DOJ has anything to do with it, sweetie.
I mean, it's so funny because I asked someone the other day who's really uniquely primed to talk about this stuff, who's going to come on the show soon. So I won't steal his thunder. But I said, what do you think the focus of the Trump administration is going to be for these next few years? Right? Like, you know, how much more can we do? And he said, it's just going to be scapegoating. It's just going to be the distraction. And so it's like Trump has been waiting to do this. And I think this also goes hand in hand with the fact that like there was nothing for MLK Day yesterday from the White House.
I mean, this is so laughable. It's so laughable because it's like white justice. Like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like white justice. It's like when equality feels like oppression.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what's hilarious about it. It's like, good for you. You're going to cry victimhood.
To Jenny's point about like just taking off the political theater, I was sort of like I kept on waiting to see if they were going to say anything about MLK Day yesterday. And of course, they didn't anywhere on any of their social media. And there was a part of me that was like, okay, good. At least they're not using Martin Luther King quotes while they use a paramilitary to build a white nationalist nation. But then on the other hand, I was like, that's so terrifying that like the administration is no longer acknowledging like a true American hero that, you know, like the Civil Rights Act is good for everybody, you know, like it's good for us too, you know? And, you know, national parks weren't free yesterday. Usually they're free on days like this. They will be free on his birthday in June. It just like, it is so blatantly building a white nationalist agenda. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's to what you were saying is like, it kind of was always there. And now it's just sort of like hoods are off.
Well, what's interesting too is like I was remembering MLK Day in the prior Trump administration. Do you guys remember that really viral clip when it was MLK Day, or maybe it was it was Black History Month, which I highly doubt we'll be celebrating, but it was Black History Month, and Trump sat down with Omarosa and was just like, have you ever noticed people have just started talking about someone called Frederick Douglass?
I don't remember this. That's
we'll find the clip for Friday.
Yeah.
But I think my point is like they used to pretend.
Yes.
Yeah.
They used to pretend.
Right. Exactly. That's right.
And so what's worse?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's really yesterday I was sitting around and I was like, what's creepier? Like in some ways I'm glad because I was waiting to be like, if he's gonna, by the way, Martin Luther King Jr., an actual Nobel Prize Peace Prize winner, by the way. Before we get to Kathy, let's talk about some real white people problems though. On a sort of lighter note, the Beckhams are back. The Beckhams are back, but not in a good way. If you missed it, yesterday, the family's been in this like public feud, and yesterday Brooklyn Beckham threw up like a bomb into the world. Meredith, do you want to take this one away? Because I feel like you're more plugged in.
Well, here's the deal. If I can solve this, I see no reason why I shouldn't get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Here's what I find interesting about this. I'm a huge fan of Culture Work. I don't know if you guys know Culture Work. She's a creator. Yes. She's fucking phenomenal. And she did a great sort of emergency Substack on this, because my first reaction to this was like, Victoria Beckham kind of seems like an asshole. And
I've met her before. I've met her and Harper before.
And anything you want to say to the class?
She was exactly who you think she is.
Yeah.
She was like a teeny tiny little stick figure. She had an entourage around her. She seemed like fine, so she was just sort of exactly, she doesn't eat, like she literally just sits there. Everybody else around is like drinking tea and she won't even like drink tea, like she's clearly counting like she's like too much oxygen, like, yeah. But sorry,
I'd be bitchy if I was living like that.
That's right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is like, I'm hungry.
But like, here's the deal. There's two sides to every story. Sure. These all seem like horrible people. They all seem like really wealthy people. The one thing that struck me as sad is like, I think when you come from a family like this, the one gift that you can sometimes have is siblings, right? Mm-hmm. Because
I mean that too.
In theory, in a perfect world, your parents are going to be long gone, long before your siblings are. So I don't know, like as someone who has sisters who I love so much, to have somebody to reflect and go like, God, wasn't this great or wasn't this awful or whatever. I think that's really sad to lose that, but who knows? Yeah. Life is long. So, sure. Maybe they'll reunite. But what Culture Work
for Mel Robbins to weigh in on this and be right. like, no contact. You know what I mean?
But what Culture Work pointed out is that this family that Brooklyn Beckham has married into is like beyond wealthy in a way that like the Beckhams can't even like begin to fathom. Totally. So if he had married like some girl from Medford, Massachusetts, like me, and he was like, fuck my parents, I want to be authentic, I want to live in, on the second floor of a triple decker, I'd be like, yeah, but I actually think that a big part of this is the fact that like his in-laws are kind of horrified by the display that the Beckhams have to do in order to stay wealthy, because that's what you have to do to succeed.
Yeah. They're new money. They're new money.
And so that's what Culture Work pointed out. So at the end of the day, go to therapy, talk it out, figure out, nobody's perfect. And I think there's two sides to every story. So I don't know. I want to kick it to Jenny though, because I feel like Jenny's going to have a thought.
Oh, the thought is I've learned about this feud against my will. And so it's fine. I think this is all that I need to know about it.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of I just feel like it's a bunch of clavicles and cheekbones fighting.
It is. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's just good bone structure arguing.
I will say this though, before we bring in our guest, who I'm so excited about. there was a part where I was like, I don't care. I'm not interested. I don't have a side. And then it was like, my mom wouldn't even help my wife when she was trying to help displaced dogs during the LA fires. And I was like,
You live displaced dogs out of this. What did they ever do to you?
Okay, I do have a side.
Yes.
Displaced dogs.
Fair enough.
I did get my dog. Right.
Having met Victoria Beckham, it's hard for me to believe that she's ever petted a dog in her life. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't strike me. She strikes me as somebody who'd be like, no.
Let's get her on the show. You never know.
No hugs.
Yeah,
no
that's right.
hugs.
You guys, I'm so excited. She's in the waiting room. She's been waiting for us. She's logged on bright and early. We have with us our legendary comedian, official Trump foil, Kathy Griffin. You know her from her Emmy award-winning TV show, My Life on the D-List, her record-breaking amount of specials, one of which won a Grammy, and of course, her new hit show, Talk Your Head Off. There she is.
Pew, pew, pew.
What's up, our friend?
Lay off Gavin Newsom, Meredith. Lay off. You hear me? You hear me? Listen to me. Listen to me.
Okay.
Potted plant. Potted plant. I will galvanize around a fucking potted plant against the fascism that has occupied an entire state in the United States of America, and people are acting like it's not happening or that it can't happen to them. So whether it's Gavin or Mamdani, by the way, you want a stateswoman? You had your chance with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris would have been the perfect stateswoman. She could go anywhere around the globe. But I'm just saying, whether it's Gavin or whether it's, of course I want a woman, but we can't say Jasmine Crockett. Let's just stop saying that, because I would love President Jasmine Crockett, but I'm a progressive libtard, all the names they want to call me. And so I'm just making the point. We have to galvanize around not just the president, because there isn't just going to be one savior, but we lost the trifecta. So while everybody's getting so mad at Cory Booker and mad at their local congressional rep, we lost people. The last election, we lost the House, the Senate, the White House. How do you think a fucking bill gets passed, you fucking morons? We have to win the House, the Senate, and the White House.
Wait,
that's
Kathy,
what it has to take. So
are
vote
you
blue no matter who. No matter who.
Are you like me and starting to be like, oh.
Wait, did Jenny leave because she's so offended?
Yeah, Jenny's our first.
I have a walkout?
You have a walkout.
I think
good for me.
Wait.
Won't be the first time, won't be the last.
Jenny is bringing a potted plant for president.
I am checking the box. Vote. If it's
I can't hear anything
Democrat
right
plant,
now.
it has to be a Democrat
I can't hear
plant.
anything. Hold on.
I don't think
Democratic plant.
I would like to nominate this potted plant.
Honestly,
I'm in.
Over Gavin Newsom. I will
choose Summit. I would send that plant around the world as a statesperson. And let me tell you, let go of the third party system. Okay? Let go of that. We are not ready yet. I wish we had a third party system. I love all the stuff Bernie Sanders stood for, but give me a break. We are in a two-party system. As Barack Obama said, you have to be in the arena. We have to get in the arena and stop infighting amongst ourselves.
Kathy,
well, you know who's in the arena? Let's talk about the arena for a second, because
wait, I can't hear you. I just lost Meredith.
You lost me? I'm here. Wait, can you hear me?
Can you hear any of us?
I can hear Rebecca. Jenny, talk.
Hi.
Okay, I can't hear Meredith.
What about me?
Wait.
No,
I can't hear Meredith.
Okay.
Weird.
We can hear you. We got you.
We got you.
All right. Well, I don't know what Meredith is saying, but I agree with you all the way, and I hope you agree with me all the way.
We for sure do. I'm also curious. I'm freaking out about the midterms. Let's talk about that in a second. But we wanted to ask you specifically. You are no stranger to the DOJ coming after you.
Yes.
Original. Over the weekend, Don Lemon, our pal, independent journalist, went to go cover protests in Minneapolis. Covered a group that went into a church because the protesters believed the pastor to be working with ICE. He was just there as a journalist. And then the Trump administration, the deputy attorney general, said that she was, quote, going after him, that he was on notice. Sorry, that's the quote. And there's like conversation about the KKK act going against him. But I wanted to ask, like, what was your reaction as somebody who knows what this is like? What was your immediate reaction?
As someone who has had the knock at the door, as they say, by the feds, investigated by 2 agencies within the Department of Justice, I advise him to keep going and let them come after me again. Because I prevailed the first time and I will fucking prevail again. This is fucking bullshit. You have reporters that are such pussies. They're not on boots on the ground in Minnesota where they should be. Don Lemon went with his own money. He went for a day. He wisely just went from, I believe he lives in New Orleans, and he got a ton of content that was seen widely around the world. And I think it's very important that reporters with name value. And if you were on CNN, you were on globally. I toured the world. And so those CNN, I don't love CNN right now. I don't love David Zaslav, who owns it. He's a Trump guy. But, you know, those names are still names. And so, as a matter of fact, on my YouTube show going live at noon today, Kathy Griffin, Talk Your Head Off, I call out a certain news personality that I feel very strongly should be in Minnesota. And this is someone who I have had issues with, but is a very famous face and reporter and has done real reporting from Rwanda to Jalalabad. And so I don't know what is keeping these reporters from going there. And I'm including Rachel Maddow. I don't mean to put her on blast because she's our beacon of light, but they're all comfortable in their cushy anchor desks. And I'm a Midwesterner. I know what it's like to have negative 17 wind chill, but these people are being pulled out in their underwear, half dressed. They could freeze to death during their seizure, and they're being sent to Texas, and we don't know where. I don't know what's going on. I would say, honestly, half the people that I come across in my life don't even know about this. They think it has nothing to do with them. And
Really?
Let me tell you, absolutely. When I go to the gym, I'm vicious. I walk into my gym and I just start shouting. Like, they're going to kick me out because I just start shouting. The entire state of Minnesota is occupied by the federal government. And don't think that we're not next because Trump hates Newsom and hates California and hates our representatives and hates Karen Bass. And so get ready, folks. And they are here. There was a raid in Alhambra yesterday. I feel helpless. I am a white woman who does not feel discriminated against. Although as a woman, we're second-class citizens, that's for sure. And I have a thesis that Jonathan Ross, whose name we should never forget, he wouldn't have murdered Renee Good if she was a white bro.
Oh, for sure not.
So this is a woman thing too. Let's not forget. These ICE losers, I can't imagine how many of them have domestic violence charges or, you know, have dealt with that issue. I can't imagine how many of them are failed at an attempt they made to join the police academy or the military. You know, we know who these guys are. We know that when Jonathan Ross shot her face off and then called her a fucking bitch, who here has not heard that tone from a man at some point in your life?
100%.
And what do? Bitch. We joke around, we de-escalate. And when she said her dying words, I ain't mad at you. And that was enough. That taunted him enough. So I don't know what it's going to take. I'm so angry at other public people. I'm just a D-lister. But I'm so grateful to someone like Bruce Springsteen, who spoke out and said, ICE, get the fuck out of Minnesota, but they're everywhere. I don't know why other states aren't preparing. He's clearly, Meredith probably going to Massachusetts.
I know.
They're probably going to Maine. I have a show in St. Paul, Minnesota, March 5th. And let me tell you, I'm on tour now. and it is tricky. And I was thinking of canceling the tour because of everything that's going on. I had shows last weekend, and Renee Good had just been killed, and I'm sorry, 2 weekends ago. And let me tell you, I'm going to be honest, I burst into tears at the opening of my comedy show, my stand-up comedy show.
Been there, done that. Been there,
because
done that.
I had to, you have to address it. You can't just go out there, and I can't tell my usual celebrity jokes. They are traumatized. Everyone is traumatized. Everyone has seen the video, at least, of Renee Good. Everyone has seen that. And so my question for you guys is, what is going on that people aren't waking up when an entire heartland, Rust Belt state of, by the way, primarily Caucasian Americans is under siege, under occupation by an agency that wasn't even developed until 2003. Was kind of, W built it, and it's been around, but never did they have a system where you could sign up. There's a reporter in Minnesota who went undercover, and she was able to become a member in under 6 minutes. And then they're going to give these guys automatic weapons and point them at you and break down your door with a battering ram. I'm old enough to remember Chief Daryl Gates in the Los Angeles situation with Rodney King. That guy was a nightmare. So the police chief matters. Elections matter. They're every year. They're not every 4 years or every 2 years. Elections are every year. The sheriff is an important election. People don't want to research the judges and the sheriffs. Take 10 minutes. I always put online my Kathy Griffin handy dandy lefty voting guide. And I'm a Democrat. I'm not a Sanders person. I want to be clear. I'm more of a Hillary Kamala person. If that offends you, I'm sorry. But like I said, I believe in being in the arena. I'm 65. I've seen a lot of this stuff. Potted plant gets my vote over Trump.
I want to ask Jenny, because you are a former labor organizer.
I can't hear Meredith's shit, you guys. Tell me
what
she's saying.
She's saying, tell me, Jenny, you're a former labor organizer. What are you thinking?
Yes, exactly that.
First of all, I just want to acknowledge that, Kathy, you are a white woman who knows where Alhambra is, and that already impresses me. Okay? My bar is very low for white people right now. And just the fact that you know where Alhambra is here in LA County speaks to my heart. I think on the
I'll go to Bell, honey. I will go to Bell myself.
Listen, Cudahy.
Water balloons with piss inside of them.
What you know about Cudahy? Okay, anyway, this is very local humor for LA. Here's the thing. I used to work as a labor organizer. I've knocked on so many doors. I've helped to elect people in LA County working for the Service Employees International Union. And I know how the sausage is made, and it is not fun. It's not glamorous. And I think what's really upsetting is that we've really failed as an American culture over the decades of losing our sense of civics, which is so boring and not sexy. And it's like what you're saying, Kathy. It's like, oh, why don't you just learn about why electing the right sheriff is important? Know about Alhambra, know about, like that level of sort of local civics education we've really lost, and it hasn't just occurred in the last few years or the last at least 10
All right,
years,
I have a question for the group. When I do my own mini canvassing, because I'm such a big mouth, I just stop strangers wherever I see them. I am shocked. I would say 50% of the white people I talk to think that every person who's being detained, which is a nice way of putting it, assaulted and abducted, and then put on a plane to Texas if they're lucky, every single one of them is in fact a child sex offender. That's the Fox narrative. And these are people
as opposed to our president of the United States, by the way, as opposed, this
one
is
of the people who told me this anyway. Was an attorney.
Yeah, every accusation is a confession with this administration. And so it's like, it's not even funny. Everything they say on the Fox News or the right is 100% the people who are running things right now. So I don't give a fuck.
How do we convince them that they're not going and catching criminals, that these people really are innocent if white people have internal biases against other races that they may not even be totally aware of?
You got to talk to your Midwest family.
I feel like
you got to talk to your Midwest family. White people got to talk to your family.
Well, my Midwest family thinks I'm a member of ISIS, so.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's the like nice way, which is like we try to do a show like this, which is like approachable, and sometimes we talk about pop culture, and like maybe we can get people in that way. But I think the darker version of me is, I think the truth is, until what happens in Minneapolis starts to happen in our neighborhoods, which I agree, Kathy, it will. I think that is when white people will start to be like, wait a minute. What happened? You know, like I think that it's gonna take that, and like I don't like it, and I don't think that's. I think we're all gonna boil together in that, but that's what I think.
Why do you think the media isn't covering all the protesting that we're doing?
Okay, this is I'm gonna get on my little soapbox right now, because I think this is both a politics and a media problem. I think all of us are not fully ready to admit the reality of what's happening, that there is a paramilitary in the troop in a state. And I think that that's really, really scary. And I think there's a lot of people with a lot of power and a lot of comfort who are still banking that somehow in 2028, we're going to go back to some sort of normalcy. And they're afraid to be seen like Don Lemon as somebody who steps out of bounds, somebody who's too much of an advocate. Like I keep saying, and not to come after her, like Kamala Harris is not the only one, but I'm like, Kamala Harris is not in office right now. She could be in Minnesota, arm in arm with protesters in front of a detention center. And everybody would say that's our leader. And I think everybody is afraid. You're on mute, Kathy.
Sorry. And so should Amy Klobuchar, and so should Tina Smith.
Period.
And I know Governor Walz has death threats, but I'm sorry, he will be safe arm in arm in a peaceful protest. And I don't know why every single U.S. senator isn't simply staging peaceful marches. I don't care if they go for an hour. We need to see you guys. I voted for you.
See them, yes.
Why am I there and you're not there? What?
Yeah.
I'm a target. I've been told by 4 separate law firms to not physically go to one protest, not one, because I would be such a trophy for Trump. And part of me is like, bring it on, motherfuckers, because I have the best lawyers in the world. But, you know, that is an insane thing to tell somebody. You're not safe physically going to a protest.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
I'm going to watch how Don Lemon situation unfolds. But I watched all of his interviews, and I texted him, and I said, you're the only big name who's there.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope he goes back. And like I said, if you watch my YouTube show, I put the pressure on some other big name folks who aren't going to like me, but I'm used to that, and they should do their job. And I just want to be clear, when I'm on tour, you may see me burst into tears for the first 5 minutes, but then I promise to bring the laughs, because I do understand that even in St. Paul, they want a break. I've been on Threads a ton, even though it's owned by Meta, which I hate. I'm the mayor pro tem of Threads, but I just want to assure everybody, don't worry, I'm bringing the laughs, but I also want to acknowledge I know where I am, and I know what you're going through, and I feel you.
Yeah.
Amen.
You got to.
Meredith,
Can you hear me
hear
now? How about now? She still can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Well, y'all prep her to say her dates, because I'm always trying to
What
plug
Meredith
it.
is trying to say is, where can people find you? Tell us your tour dates. Like, everybody wants to go see Kathy Griffin, because not everybody, but a lot of people are like, yeah, that lady knows what's up. So tell us where you're going to be and how we can find you.
Oh, thank you. Please come see me live, because if it wasn't for real live people buying tickets for the live experience, I would still be canceled. So I'm going to the real America, honey. I'm going to Jacksonville, which is basically Kentucky. I'm going to Richmond, Virginia, you know, and so I'm doing 30 cities on this tour. It's called Kathy Griffin, New Face, New Tour. And go to kathygriffin.com. and follow me on all the normal social media platforms and watch my YouTube show and come live, because these live shows, I know it sounds corny, but there's a sense of community that happens, and there might be protesters outside my shows. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But we talk about what's going on, and then we'll talk about the Beckhams, and we'll talk about the mommy fight with, Hillary Duff, and we'll get to all that stuff. But first we have to galvanize and understand, if there's a disruption, if there's a Trump person who snuck into the show, we're going to, as a community, just boo them out of there. And it's a really special thing. And I'm just happy to say, as much as social media is taken over, nothing can really replace the live experience.
Yes.
So come see me live. Come by yourself. You'll meet somebody, in line for the bathroom or something, and we'll have some laughs together because we need it.
We need it. I feel like, live right now, community. Kathy Griffin, the GOAT.
You guys great. I love this show.
We love you. Come back anytime. And if there's any way that anybody can help get involved, we're all, let's get into it.
I'm actually contributing to independent journalists. That's how I'm doing it. So I'm getting to know who's on the ground and who needs some money. And that's what I'm doing.
I love that.
You're the queen.
All right. Love you guys. I don't know how to get off.
List me forever.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Meredith, you were muted, I guess, to Kathy the whole time.
I know.
Okay, what if she was joking and it wasn't actually, and she was just trolling you? What if she really did hear you and she was just, because Meredith and Kathy have a close relationship. What if she was just trolling you and she was like,
maybe this is about to be a long-term bit.
yeah,
She still can't hear me. So listen, a year from now, it'll be the same exact thing. We'll go for a walk in Malibu and she won't be able to hear me. But you know what? Maybe that's good, because then I can't say my opinion on Gavin Newsom.
there you go. Yeah,
I will vote for Gavin, with bells on, if he is the presidential nominee in 2028. I just believe that now is the time to have the conversations. And I remember, in 2019, you guys know, actually no one knows this, even other people, no one probably, I was a big Julian Castro fan. That was my pick for president. I thought Julian Castro was a fantastic pick, and I put a lot of time into sharing about him as a candidate. So this is the time to do that, you guys, because a lot of people were disappointed that we ended up with Biden. Well, guess what? Now's the time to learn about potential other candidates. Of course, let's focus on 2026 first, but get to know somebody that isn't Gavin Newsom.
I also feel like a lot of what the Trump administration does is get us to a place where we sort of pre-capitulate, where we're oh, he's canceling the elections. Oh, there's this sort of I know a lot of people who have this we're cooked rhetoric. And I'm what weaponized incompetence? Don't let this dude who texts the Norwegian prime minister to bully him for a Nobel Peace Prize convince you that you don't get to have a primary for your candidate. Let's not let him take everything from us. And I'm not saying Gavin Newsom has to be perfect or any candidate has to be perfect, but we get to have a primary still. Donald Trump cannot take that away from me. I mean, he probably will try.
He could, but
I'm but no.
Well, you know what else he can't take away from us?
Tell
Our
me.
moments.
Yeah.
I'm dying to know what is having a moment. I'll start with Jenny. Jenny, what's having a moment for you right now?
Listen, I had a moment of sadness, of contemplating the world this past week, and then I had to snap out of it. But what helped me was I was in Portland, and I just walked by this place called Pairings PDX, and it's a wine bar. And they had this really great calendar of events, and it said Heated Rivalry. I said, tell me more. Did you say, a Heated Rivalry wine bar pairing event?
Yeah, that's hot.
So I went by myself. Sunday night, I went by myself. It was packed. It was just a bunch of mostly queer, non-binary, and women types, and just Portland, blue hair streak people. And we were just literally going through 9 basically half pours of wine glasses. And each of the pours was paired with a character from Heated Rivalry.
Ooh.
And then when the tattoo song got it through my head, running through my head. That song was started playing. The whole fucking place went wild. I mean, it was a time. I made friends. It was great.
That is like truly one of the greatest songs of all time. And I will not be taking questions. That is a great song that only like people of a certain age, you know what I mean? Like it didn't last the test of time except for a specific generation, but it's a great song.
Yeah, so
But I
that's
think
my moment.
it goes to that idea of community, right? Like,
Mhm.
you know, to take this thing, that's why like there are some things that are great about those moments in culture that everyone kind of gets wrapped up in.
Yes,
Like,
fandom.
you know, the Olympics are coming and I feel like it happens then as well. So it's like,
Yep.
it's okay to like want to do that thing. And I also think it's like, I was hearing somebody talk the other day and they were like, nothing like fun or different or interesting really happens if you just stay home. Like you got to leave your fucking house. You got to go to the thing. You got to show up, do the thing, even if it's like different or strange or you have to go alone. And I think that just like goes to show.
It does go to show. What's having a moment for you, Meredith?
You know, this feels like very much a white person thing, but
Go
it's
on.
two things. I'm reading Wuthering Heights, which I've never read before, which does feel very much like a white person read, which is, you know, it's okay. But I'm really enjoying it. It is really good, but the white person part of this is that I read a chapter and then I read the Cliff's Notes summary. Chapter, Cliff's Notes. And you know what? I don't think it's cheating. Like Cliff's Notes is not ChatGPT. And so it's like, it's okay to use those aids in your life, but
Yes.
I think that's like where it blurs the line. And so anyway, I'm loving the book. I'm loving the text, but I'm also getting a little bit of help from Cliff's Notes. So that's what's having a moment for me.
I love that. I feel like as long as it's not the other way around, where it's like you read the Cliff Notes and then you read, it's like you do that and then you get a little like booster being like, did I understand this? And also you can be like, hey, this is how they interpreted that, but that's not my interpretation. Like that, I think I'm all for it, girl.
You're in dialogue. You're in dialogue with the Cliff's
Right.
Notes.
That's correct.
Yes. Remember Cliff's Notes, like when we were, I think we're all kind of around the same age. It was like a punchline of like, you were stupid if you read it.
Totally.
And it's,
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's really just like a companion text. It's like I'm going to English class after.
100%.
But I don't have to sit next to Tom Kears. So
yeah.
I need to look up who Tom Kears is.
Oh, it didn't end. It doesn't end well for Tom Kears. Let's just say Facebook presence. Facebook presence.
Oh.
Leave Greenland alone, Tom Kears. Leave Greenland alone.
Rebecca, what's having a moment for you?
Okay, so I was struggling with my moment today, but I was thinking about Trump is going to Davos later this week. Davos is like where all the like very, very wealthy and world leaders meet. It's like Coachella for like the richest and most powerful men in the world. Also, Gavin Newsom is going there, but mostly Trump. And I was remembering back in, I want to say 2018, 2019, there was this clip of a historian who, for the first time ever, called all of them out for being a bunch of bitches, basically. Vienna, I think we're going to try and play that clip because I just, like, this guy forever is my moment. Do we have it?
She's going to try to share the screen to play the clip.
This has not been our best tech episode. We will say that.
Yeah, this has not been our best tech episode.
Yes, I've flown in here to hear Sir David Attenborough speak about, how we're wrecking the planet. And I hear people talk in the language of participation and justice and equality and transparency. But then, almost no one raises the real issue of tax avoidance, right? And of the rich just not paying their fair share. It feels like I'm at a firefighters conference and no one's allowed to speak about water, right? there was only one panel, actually.
Well, we've had two. You're the second of our panelists.
There was only one panel.
Let's go there.
One panel hidden away in the media center that was actually about tax avoidance. I was one of the 15 participants. So something needs to change here. 10 years ago, the World Economic Forum asked the question, what must industry do to prevent a broad social backlash? The answer is very simple. Just stop talking about philanthropy and start talking about taxes. Taxes. We need to, just 2 days ago, there was a billionaire in here, what's his name? Michael Dell. And he asked the question like, Name me one country where a top marginal tax rate of 70% has actually worked. And, I'm a historian. The United States, that's where it has actually worked. In the 1950s, during Republican President Eisenhower, the war veteran, the top marginal tax rate in the US was 91% for people like Michael Dell. The top estate tax for people like Michael Dell was more than 70%. I mean, this is not rocket science. I mean, we can talk for a very long time about all these stupid philanthropy schemes. We can invite Bono once more, but come on, we got to be talking about taxes. That's it. Taxes, taxes, taxes. All the rest is bullshit.
Not Bono. Not throwing Bono under the bus.
Not throwing Bono under the bus. But I just loved, it's like, you have to imagine like the people in the audience, the people on the panels, like these are all the wealthiest people in the world. And like the guts to stand up and just say like, hey, this is like the very basics. And I'm just like praying that there's a Rutger Bregman type at Davos this week who can like look Trump in the eye and be like, hey, like you are destroying the world in front of us. So he's forever my moment.
Well, it's like I keep seeing celebrities post about like what's happening with ICE is terrible. And what, and I'm like, you went to the Jeff Bezos wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. You have his number in your phone.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that Jeff Bezos is the only reason that Trump got elected or the only reason that he has the power that he has. But at this point, if your friend gave Trump $1 million at the inauguration to help fund whatever, like that was just a check to fund the new era of Trump. You enabled this. So you have two options. You actually can say, I think, and I'd love to know Jenny's opinion on this before we wrap. Can you say at this point, hey, I really fucked up going to that wedding and having a friendship with Jeff Bezos. I am walking away from that. Like, do you think it's too late for people to say that?
I think it's never too late. I believe in a redemption arc and a path to redemption for everyone, just philosophically. And it just means that the path might be harder the deeper you go in, Like if you can afford to, you need to maybe the reparations for that situation. If you're a Bezos friend who attended the wedding, let's say you're Leonardo DiCaprio with his cap down. Let's say you're Leo and you're like, I believe in world, environmental justice. Stop flying your private planes. Say you disavow fucking Bezos. You're not going to shop at Amazon anymore. You're encouraging people not to. Maybe donate some of your millions that is the equivalent of what Bezos donated to something that's worthy. Like there's so many things that I feel like people can do to apologize and make amends. And so I believe it's totally fine to be able to say, I'm no longer friends with Jeff Bezos.
Yes, say it. And you know what? I think you'll get tons of accolades. And you make a really good point. The other thing I would say is like with Leonardo DiCaprio, the climate guy, the thing that pisses me off is like so many folks come to the United States because they are being persecuted. I don't know the right way to say this, but like persecuted by the climate, right? Like climate change.
Climate refugees.
Climate refugees. Sorry, that's the term. They're climate refugees. So they come here to escape that. And then it's like, when they get here, Leonardo DiCaprio is like, on a yacht with Jeff Bezos, not realizing like the trickle down effect of all of this. So I think that's, another piece of it. So I'm glad you brought him up. You know who I feel like fighting with today? I'm going to get offline, do a couple things, and then I think I'm going to fight with Portnoy today.
Ooh, she chose violence.
Dave Portnoy?
Yeah, because I was thinking about it this morning, and remember Portnoy just went like during COVID. Portnoy's whole thing was like, I'm supporting small businesses and restaurants and giving them money so they can stay open. Okay, that's fine. That's nice. I think it was probably a lot of white people that he was helping. But right. But now I'm reading about how restaurants are being deeply impacted by the ICE raids, whether it's staffing, whether it's people who don't want to leave the house to eat, etc. So I'm like, well, where the fuck is Dave now? And when I put in Dave Ice, all I get is pictures of him eating ice cream. So Dave, I know, I've talked to you before. I think I'm feeling a little frisky today. I'm going to come for you.
That SEO, you're going to change that SEO for Dave Portnoy to include ice sympathizer. No, right? I love it. Meredith, can I just tell you, I love that you do not let your heel is always on Cheryl Hines's neck. When you sink your teeth in, the white on white crime is phenomenal, and I think I support
white on white crime.
It is. Someone's got to do it. I don't
Someone's
have
gotta
energy for this, but Meredith does. And that's what I appreciate.
That's why I'm here. I was put on this
Thank you.
planet to bully other white people. And
It's
you
so
know
delicious.
who who reached out to me yesterday?
Who?
Tell me there's nothing scarier right now than actually having an active fight with Katie Miller.
Ooh.
Katie Miller, jog my memory.
Stephen Miller's wife.
Oh
God.
Podcaster? Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
She DM'd you?
Oh, Katie and I have
A long
back and
standing
forth.
back and forth. It's like a subplot of this show.
Yeah, I haven't. Okay, sorry. I have not followed that thread.
No,
Okay.
I know. And so
What'd she say?
here's the thing, Katie. You talk a big game in the comments, but you haven't answered my DM. And I sent you a DM asking if you wanted to sit down and have a conversation. And you left me on red. And then I sent you another DM that said cute outfit, which I actually genuinely meant. You left me on red. So if you come for the comments, but now you won't answer my DM. So let's talk. Let's see. I told you I'll come to Washington and we'll have a sit down and, we can talk about it on DM, the more specifics of it. But you talk a big game, but you never want to actually talk.
I think that her media career didn't go exactly how she planned. I think she thought she was going to be a lot better at it than what ended up happening. And
if you go to DC, I'll pay my way just to be in the back, like, oh,
slap her, slap her.
You guys, this has been so much fun. I know we had a little bit of an echo. I know we had a little bit of technical troubles, but thanks for sticking with us. We are working every day to bring you guys the show, and we're actually going to be upping the game a little bit in terms of how we bring it to you with technology, etc. We want to thank our host, Jenny Yang, our co-host, Jenny Yang. Jenny, where can our friends find you?
Come find me on jennyyang.tv for my website. Sign up for my email list. I'm actually going to tour this year. I haven't even announced it. Breaking news. I'm actually touring. I like got out of my pandemic induced, funk of not going around. But yes, you heard it here first. So go to jennyyang.tv, sign up for my email list. I'm going to announce my stand-up dates first there. And then at Jenny Yang TV for Instagram and TikTok. I'm starting to make more content again.
Are you doing any DC dates, Jenny?
I will.
Why not? In a little group trip.
Oh yeah, no, I'm literally. This is going to be a whole thing. We're going to discuss it.
Yeah, we got we got things to talk about. We got things to talk about. How exciting, Jenny!
Stand-up comedy. I still do it.
Exactly. Someone's gotta. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you to Kathy Griffin. Shout out to Jonathan who helped us get her all set up. Mwah. I love you guys, and we'll be back on Friday with Representative Jimmy Gomez.
Yeah, we sure will.